The only thing that the Knicks were missing was depth. And right now, they're deeper than the Pacific Ocean. And everybody else in the Eastern Conference need to get life jackets, including the Boston Celtics. This New York Knicks team is a legit title contender this season. And if anybody else say anything different, then they haven't been watching the Knicks play.
As Stephen A. said, without Joel Embiid, they're not going anywhere. And Tyrese Maxey is playing unbelievable basketball.
Yes, he is.
But without that 7'2", 285-pound monster in the middle,
spectacular. Without him,
it ain't nothing.
they're nothing.
All right.
Hey, y'all. Today, of course, this is Matt Rogers on the Honorable Mention podcast. So today, or whenever you're listening to this, it's Kylan Watson, frequent guest on the show. Great guy, great mind on basketball and other things. He has some interesting names on Watson's with an S, Sports Take. So double S, sportstake.com. and it's always like buzzed Hawks, or if the Sixers beat the Hawks, you'll get something like that. Great content. Kylan, I was telling you off kind of backstage, so to speak, that I'm not really thinking that anything that was done at the trade deadline is going to fundamentally, not to oversell it, but to say, I don't think anything that happened here is really going to change the whole trajectory of what's happening in the league. We didn't have any blockbuster trades, but some things that kind of will shake out the back half of these conferences. Do you kind of agree on that overall assessment of, where we're going with this?
Yeah, I think that, we kind of got the fireworks out the way, right? When James Harden was traded, that was kind of like the biggest domino to drop, like 4 months ago or whenever that was. Right now it's just been like, I think the three biggest dominoes were Pascal Siakam 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And then Buddy Hield today was like the headliner for real. Outside of that, it was like, outside of those three, it wasn't really, those three are like stars. Then you had like more of the role players today. So it was crazy, but it was a good little time, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot more active than last year's. So.
Oh, well, yeah. A lot happened. I'm just saying that it doesn't, like, it's not like LeBron went to the Knicks like Stephen A. was pleading for,
Yeah, Zach LaVine didn't get traded to the Sixers and the Lakers. Yeah, instead he decided to get traded to the Surgeons. So.
Speaking of the Knicks, let's start up 95 to New York. They acquired Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks in exchange for Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, and Malachi Flynn, and 2 second-round picks, according to Woj. How far can you see the Knicks going now that things are close to getting settled? There'll be the secondary market there, and things kind of always happen in that respect. But do you think? I'm kind of liking the Knicks as kind of a sneaky, maybe ECF pick. If you're a better. I'm not encouraging that kind of behavior, to be clear. I'm just saying if that's what you do.
Yeah, if everything. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If everything falls their way, yeah. So obviously one of the dominoes, obviously we believe Joel Embiid to be back, but if everything falls the same way, so if Giannis get hurt. If one of the Killer J's, Jason and Jalen Tatum get hurt, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown get hurt,
right.
It'll fall the right way and get ECF prediction will look great. Yeah, hammer that Knicks ECF prop if you're a sicko and that's what you want to do, go right ahead. But I just want people to remember these are the Knicks. Obviously it's a new regime. It's a new regime, but as Matt will remember, the Knicks haven't been a championship threat since Allen Houston and Patrick Ewing played.
Yeah.
So this is the deepest team. But I kind of am with Becky Hammond that I love Jalen Brunson. That's our man from Villanova. But him and Julius Randle, and even with Bojan Bogdanovic, it's not a championship team to me. It's definitely a second round.
3 B players.
Yeah. It's definitely a second round a second round team is definitely a team that'll make noise as long as they don't see like the Heat, the Sixers. Like it's all matchup dependent. So right now they're like the 3 seed, but I feel like they're getting ready to fall. I know Jalen Brunson hurt his ankle. We don't know how serious that is. OG Anunoby just had surgery. So if they stay healthy, yeah, they could be a top 5 team in the East. But I think that that second round is as far as they'll get. But I like the moves that Leon Rose is making, clearly with a certain somebody in Cleveland in mind, with some of the moves he's making. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what you think the likelihood of him coming home is. I feel like if he wants to not win championships, he'll go to New York, and if he wants to win, he'll go somewhere else. There's no knock on the Knicks. I just don't think that
You are knocking the Knicks, though. Hardcore knocking the Knicks. How you gonna say not to knock the Knicks? This is like one of the not to be disrespectful, and then to follow it up with some exceptionally disrespectful commentary.
Like I said, I like Jalen Brunson, but I mean, come on now. Donovan Mitchell is like the A+ player, right? If they got him and they got Jalen Brunson, I just think that they need more. I say the same thing about it right now. Like, they just need more defense. Like, to me, when Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart are your best 2 defenders, you got a problem. Like, an OG Anunoby, obviously, if he gets healthy, then it's 3 wings as your best defenders. But we all know that, like, if the first round matchup was them against the Celtics, right? They got enough to take care of the Killer Jays. Like, they might have enough to beat the Bucks.
If they had Donovan Mitchell, I think that they could contend for a ECF for sure.
Yeah. I will not be disrespectful. They could definitely. Right now, I'm saying they're a second round exit. Like, if everything falls the right way, they can go to the ECF, and a lot of that requires the top 3 teams. Obviously, the Sixers are. We'll get to them because they're falling off without Joel. But they did something a little bit to add to that. But they would need the Bucks and the Celtics to like fall off. And it seems like the Celtics, they didn't really do much. And this isn't about them, but they got I call it Kristaps Porzingis insurance and getting Xavier Tillman. Because we know that he's good, but he is definitely allergic to staying healthy. So let's just be real about that. I love Kristaps Porzingis, but I mean, he's played 70 games. Like, he's good for missing like 6 to 12. Like, and I hope he stays healthy. Even though I'm taking the Sixers fan hat off and being the objective journalist right now. So I just think I think the Knicks are a good team. They're very deep. This is the deepest Knicks team I can remember, and everything with them, just like every other top 5 team in the East, depends on health. But it's definitely the best and deepest team I've ever seen, with James Dolan as the owner. Him not being anywhere near basketball operations is really helping the Knicks. So good job, Knicks. Yeah. But don't expect to go farther than the second round. But good job. You're a very good and surprising team. Good job.
Yeah, I like it. I agree with you. The Phoenix Suns acquired Royce O'Neal from the Nets and David Roddy from the Grizzlies for 3 second-round picks, according to Shams. Suns sent out a pick swap.
Gotta love the pick swap.
Suns include 4 players in the deal, according to the report. I mean, I think that makes I like Royce O'Neal on the Suns. I think they got the firepower, if anybody does, to take down the Nuggets. I still wouldn't pick anybody over the Nuggets, but if I'm gonna, force me to say, I'm gonna have to go with the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, the Nuggets are kind of down right now. Obviously, they are, as I talked about. Shameless plug here. Check out the SportsHour Plus with Miller and Watson. I just talked about this a couple minutes ago on that podcast, that I feel like the Nuggets didn't really do anything. Now, they may have felt they didn't really need to do anything, but I think that, as we've seen, because the Sixers just saw them a few weeks ago, they are in need of some bench help. Not having Jeff Green and Bruce Brown is really hurting them right now, as much as you can hurt a team with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and MPJ as your top 3 players, but they do need to sit and rest, so they can't play 40 minutes Oh, I'm sorry.
They're
60,
tied for first. They're
yeah.
still tied for first in the
Right,
West. So.
right. They can't play 60 minutes. They're tied. They're right there. But yeah, I think the Suns did a really good move. Like, we couldn't see the vision last year around this time, but a lot just like with the Nets, and it seems like every Kevin Durant team but the Warriors, like it depends on help. But right now, like Devin Booker is balling out, Kevin Durant is balling out. Bradley Beal seems like is settling in to his role as the third piece. So as long as that works out, yeah. Like I think a sneaky move there is obviously Royce O'Neal. He can be the power forward to spell and the small forward to spell Kevin Durant. But the Roddy move, man, Roddy's a good and sneaky pickup. He can pass the ball. He can shoot the three. He's a big man. He's the ultimate stretch. And he definitely can spell their center. And he did definitely make it so Kevin Durant can be a center, and you could run center forward Durant lineups with him now. So I definitely think that the Suns definitely have the firepower to beat the Nuggets. But right now, I just think that I would slow your roll on the Suns a little bit. But if they can stay healthy, and as long as Booker and Kevin Durant, you have those two healthy, yeah, they can compete with anybody. But
it's all subject to health, and health hasn't been on these guys' side. That is the thing, the elephant in the room, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, like everybody's been unhealthy except for Devin Booker, obviously, because of the three of them, he's the youngest. I think he's still like 28, 29, right? Something like that. Probably younger.
He's
might
in
be
that
younger
range.
than that.
He's not a young boy anymore.
Yeah.
He's like
Yeah, I know. He's probably like what, late 20s, 27, 28, 29, somewhere.
Let's fact check it for the people. Let's not leave the cliffhanger.
Yeah, but like he's somewhere in his late 20s, so like he's good. Like he definitely wants that championship. So
he's 27 years old. He was born October 30th, 1996.
Yeah, shout out to our 96 babies. 27. So
October people too.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, so I think that like Royce O'Neal and David Roddy are two sneaky picks. It gives them that forward depth that they didn't have last year with the Warriors, where they really got killed by the Nuggets. And I just think that the Suns can go as far as Devin Booker, because this is, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Lakers, right? Kevin Durant, great player, still great, but he's literally on the decline, right? He's starting to, he's slowly leaving his prime. And it's kind of like what happened with Anthony Davis in the bubble, right? Like it has to be Devin Booker's time. Devin Booker has to step up. And if Devin Booker can step up and go to like 35, 40 a night in the playoffs, then they will be in the finals.
I don't want to hype him up. I don't want to, because you said I need to slow my roll on the Suns. So I don't want to get blasphemous here, but he's got the whole bag to get into that top 5 shooting guards all time kind of conversation. Like if everything falls right for Devin Booker, that's the kind of guy, that's what the kind of production I think you're talking about when you're saying Devin Booker needs to step up, like be like a Kobe type guy or D Wade type guy.
Yeah, and he's there. I'm not being disrespectful. Like I said, he is a great guard. He's a 30-10 guy, but I'm talking about he's got to go in the playoffs.
Want some other stuff. Yeah, go sicko.
He's got to be otherworldly in the playoffs, because Kevin Durant, he'll give you 25, 30 a night. If he wants to take them to their first finals since the early 90s, he has to score. He has to go in that range I'm talking about, that 35, 15, 10 assist type of guy, because he has that potential, and he just has to go next level, like Anthony Davis in the bubble level, to get them to the finals.
Absolutely.
Because he's a great scorer, but that's just what needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree that comparison you made, Anthony Davis in the bubble kind of going off. I definitely see them as a team that should be going to the to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, WCF. But I just think the Nuggets are head and shoulders the best team in the West, possibly still the NBA.
Man, I just really think, and we're gonna get to this team. This might be a perfect segue, but like I just think that, the young teams are showing up, man. Like I said on one of my shows earlier, and I think you were on this show, like because you guessed on one of my podcast
Yes,
episodes.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the Timberwolves and OKC will have something to say about this because I just think that they're there for the taking, specifically OKC, because they had an active trade deadline. Minnesota stayed pat, but they did get Monte Morris, so they didn't really stay pat. But like in comparison, it didn't really go anywhere. But
Well, yeah, if you want to go into OKC's, you already
move.
go ahead and go. Let's get to OKC then. You like the Gordon Hayward move?
Yeah, because I think like obviously like when the most veteran player is Josh Giddey, I think that you have a problem.
Need a
man.
little seasoning.
Yeah, you need some more vets. So Monte Morris, he's a young buck himself, but he's been in the league a couple of years, and not Monte Morris, my bad. Gordon Hayward's been in the league a couple of years, and like we love to see a guy who's been in the league, obviously suffered a terrible leg injury a few years ago, come back up and be with a contender again, and obviously get out of that NBA Siberia that is the Charlotte Hornets. It used to be the Timberwolves, but we can't say that no more. Thanks to Ant-Man. So, it's good to
I
see.
just don't trust it. I just don't trust it when it gets to the playoffs. I just feel like I still think it's possible that the Timberwolves would get gentlemen swept. I could definitely see for sure the Thunder pushing the Nuggets 6 games if they played them.
I can see it going 7 because again, like if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes off, and I mean Chet, like shout out to OKC, and like people didn't know what Presti was doing. I was about to say Prius. What Presti was doing, but
Sam Prius.
Yeah. What Presti was doing, but like he showed up, man, and like this team is making him look like a genius. Chet is having one of the best rookie seasons. If it wasn't for Victor Wembanyama, he might be rookie of the year right now. But like, Chet is looking great. Like he took a redshirt year last year, but he's looking great. Taco that with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 2-time All-Star now. Like I said, like we said with Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has to go ape for them to go anywhere. Like I think OKC can go to the second round, and that's really, really moderately successful for them because who would have thought I'd be saying that 2 years in a row they make the playoffs? So I think that they'll go to the second round. I think that they're definitely a sneaky team. They're definitely on the rise. And like, the Gordon Hayward move just gives them the shooting that they need because outside of like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey, we love Chet, but like 3-point shooting is not his thing yet. So like,
and Giddey gives you a lot of 9-point games. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so like to have that 2 guard off the bench and Gordon Hayward, I'm assuming will be the 6th man. So having that and like obviously you get like 10, 15-point gains from I'm going to try to make sure I say his name right. I'm just going to say Luans Dortz. He's a great player, great defensive player, but not really the offensive threat yet. But having him and Gordon Hayward on the same team should really help and give them another, like, if we know nothing else, Gordon Hayward can definitely still give you 15 to 20 points a night. So, like, and that's what they need, especially off the bench where people are going to be, like, scheming in the playoffs to stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So you need that second, third scorer. Obviously, Chet would be the second scorer, but the third scorer and a consistent scorer so that you don't have to rely on 9, 10, and 11 game from Josh Giddey. Which no disrespect because he's a great player, but he's still
all right. I'll say if the Thunder get the number 1 seed, then I could see them pushing it 7. But if you play game 1 and game 2 in Denver in that altitude, I don't think they push that 7. I think they get them out of there in 6. But just for the record,
like I said, second round. But first, it could easily be a first round exit depending on the matchup. But I don't think they'll fall lower than 4th. I don't believe. I think they're a top 4 team, right? Top 4 seed in the West now. So
Number one. They're tied for number one with the Nuggets.
Yeah, so all they really need to do, it seems like it's flipped from Minnesota. It's always been a toss-up right now in these last few weeks between them,
It's
the
a
Clippers.
three-way tie at the moment.
Yeah, them, the Clippers, and the Thunder, and the Timberwolves were number one for a while too before, January and February happened. So, I'm sorry, we're still in February before January happened. So, yeah.
The Raptors acquired Spencer Dinwiddie from the Nets for Dennis Schroeder and Thad Young, who they're going to drop Thad Young.
Right.
I'm not understanding the Dinwiddie for Schroeder trade because I feel like it's like the Spider-Man meme. It's like the same player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
good.
The production is like the same. If you look at the numbers, it's like literally the same. It's like 13.6 assists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Dinwiddie obviously is it's another player that's on that decline, right? He might end up because of the Pat Bev trade. He might. I know it's a strong possibility that he'll get bought out and probably end up maybe here in Philly to annoy some of y'all, but I don't know. There are 3 roster spots. We'll get to the Sixers that are up for grabs via the buyout market. So we'll see what the Sixers end up with. One of those is probably going to Kyle Lowry, but it's not about him yet. But Spencer Dinwiddie, that's a good player. He would have been good on the Raptors, especially with all the shots that are available now, because it's literally just Scotty Barnes and no one else on that team. So and now obviously he's getting bought out, so we'll see.
They're playing the long game.
Yeah. Yeah, the Raptors, Masai Ujiri is good. They won that championship in 2019. They're good. But for Spencer, I just think, how the mighty have fallen, bro. He's a good player, but he's good in he's like the ultimate situational player. He's not somebody you really want in your starting lineup, but if you have to be there, you pray that he has a good night. That's how I feel about Spencer Dinwiddie. He's far removed from those random nights where he would drop, if you remember, 25 and 10 when he got that big contract from the Nets and they got traded to the Mavs. He's far removed from Brooklyn and Dallas Spencer. It is looking not good for him, but there are a lot of desperate contenders right now who need a guard like him who can be the ultimate microwave, and you just pray that it's a good night when you see him on the court. I think Spencer is a good player, but he's the ultimate you can quote me on this, the ultimate situational player is Spencer Dinwiddie. In football, they talk about system quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate system as
game manager.
Players. Spencer Dinwiddie. That's the. I don't want to be disrespectful because that man did get a lot of money, but he got most of it in crypto, which I think says a lot about him right there. But I
go there on a damn.
but I think that he could be a good player for a contending team off the bench, and a good plug-in guard if you need it in the playoffs. But don't expect no defense. He's not he's up there. Nikola Jokic has improved on defense. See, Nuggets fans, I can say something nice about Nikola Jokic on defense. He's gotten somewhat better, but he's not Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a turnstile on defense.
So the Bucks trade Robin Lopez, but not Brooke Lopez. I misread that. I thought that was a bigger move than initially when I read that, but it's Robin.
Right.
Okay.
And they got Pat Bev. Don't forget that they sent Pat Bev back to Doc Rivers.
How you feel about that?
Honestly, when I first initially saw the move, I hated it because I liked Pat Bev. He was the ultimate Philly player to not be born here, but the ultimate Philly guy, Philly player. People loved him. They loved that man. He was loving Philadelphia. But I completely understand it because we're gonna get to Buddy Hield after this. That's called the tease in our business, ladies and gentlemen. When you Pat Bev is not a shooter anymore, and he's at 31% from 3. And right now, the lack of 3-point shooting, especially for the Sixers, has bared itself without Joel Embiid. You know, I never thought
Right.
that the Sixers would become the Washington Generals without Joel Embiid, but this year that's what they are without Joel
Yes.
Embiid. So
Yes.
like you know,
They
you
played the box and one on Tyrese Maxey. They put
Last
that
night.
man in the box. And one.
yeah, but like I feel like Pat Bev will be good for the Bucks is what they need, a defender, somebody who can get them a shot, but like he's not going to make up for the fact that Damian Lillard is allergic to playing defense and relies on 50-point games, and he's not that player anymore. He's not Dame. He's not young Dame time. He's old Dame time now. But he's a great.
So he can't give anybody 50. You don't think he can give anybody 50?
He can give people 50, but I don't think he's that player that was waving goodbye a few years ago to the OKC.
Oh,
He's not that player.
I hope he hears you. I hope he hears
he
this.
can hear. Look, objectively, I'm being objective here. I like Dame. He's one of my top 10 players right now currently. But like he's just not like you've seen it this year. Like besides that one game, months ago where he gave the Sixers about 50 points because they weren't expecting that from him. Like, you know, he hasn't been that guy. He gives you 30, he gives you 35, he gives you like 25, 28. Like, but Dame's not that guy anymore. I think he can turn it on when need be. But right now, the Bucks really rely on Giannis Antetokounmpo and your favorite coach, Doc Rivers, who you know. I don't want to say he Game of Thrones Griffin, but it kind of seems like Griffin got Game of Thrones, bro. Because like I know that's not what this is about. It's about the trade deadline, but I think that Doc Rivers is a good coach for the Bucks right now. Like Griffin was a first timer. There was a lot going on there, and Doc Rivers is a great coach. I still think the Bucks will probably end up being the second round. They should make it to the ECF. But for some reason, the last few years, they always run into the Heat somehow, some way. So if they don't run into the Heat, I feel like they can make it to the second round. But right now, as currently constructed, I don't think they're going anywhere past the second round, bro. But I think it's a nice move for them to get Pat Bev. Obviously, they got rid of Robin Lopez because I guess it was kind of redundant having two twins that. Even though obviously Brook Lopez is objectively the better brother, but
way better.
Yeah, but like Robin Lopez is a good player. He just needs to shoot threes.
Scrappy,
but he can give you a rebound, and he's definitely a good backup big for a certain team not far from me who might be needing a backup big right about now.
I don't know. I'm more excited. He's a backup big. You know, he like Paul Reed's backup.
Yeah, well, they got 3 roster spots. They need somebody. Like,
Paul Reed's going to be somebody's backup, and then the backup to Paul Reed could be Robin Lopez.
Yeah,
sure.
So
let's be very clear.
Yeah.
He's not the number 2 guy who's gonna come. I need B-ball Paul if we're talking.
Yeah. I feel you. But like they got 3 roster spots. But yeah, I just think the Bucks just needed to clear some cap space. Obviously, like the Bucks, the Celtics, the Lakers, the Clippers, they're all above the apron. Finally, the Sixers are winning in something. They found a way with these moves that they made. It's not about them, but to get below the apron, and I don't think they'll be above it until 2029 when Joel Embiid will clearly, he's about to turn 30, will be starting to do this too at like mid-30s. So like we'll see, but like I think it was a good move for the Bucks. Is what they needed, some guard depth and somebody who can play defense. And if Pat Bev can do nothing else, we know that he can be annoying on defense. So, you know, we'll see what happens for the Bucks, but I think it's a good move. The Robin Lopez move is a little bit confusing because they definitely need another big man because I love Brook Lopez, but staying healthy is not his thing. But, you know, I guess they're just going to rely on Bobby Portis and hope that works out. So
more on all of this on the other side of the break because I have a lot of thoughts on Doc and what the hell is going on over there. But we'll be right back.
How long is Joel out?
They say a month. They said they're gonna check him in a month.
How many games that underdog? 12, 13?
At least.
Damn.
And so they pick up Buddy Hield today.
That don't matter. It all comes down to Joel. Without Joel, I love Buddy Hield. He's gonna be a fine addition. But without Joel,
No, I'm not saying without. assuming Joel comes back,
It might be too late because they could be in the play-in, and that
Miami was in the play-in and went to the finals.
yeah,
last year.
that was just that was a fluke.
All right, Kylan. Like I said, we'll be right back to talk about Doc Rivers and the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know. I really don't understand what the strategy is here, and I feel like they're kind of putting Doc in a really bad position because if they're they were 30-13 when they let go of the coach, and
Right.
so they were in great shape record wise. You got two players. What I heard were really concerns about, on the defensive end of the floor, which I don't know why when you let go of a guy like Drew Holiday, you expect that the defense is going to get better. So it didn't really make sense to me. I feel like Doc's kind of set up now to be the fall guy, so Giannis doesn't have to take it.
Yeah. That's why I honestly agree with you. I know very rare when it comes to Doc Rivers that you and I agree on something, but I know we're breaking show continuity right now. But Doc, I finally come around. For those of you that watch this show, him and Javon were trying to tell me that Doc Rivers was the ultimate choker. I just thought that the talent would carry him like it did in 2008, but it has left him and everything. So I am of the same mindset. I don't know, it just kind of seemed weird to me that, as Doc does, he advised coaches and he was advising Griffin. And then some kind of way they fire Griffin. And then of all the coaches to call,
crazy.
They call him. They call the guy that was advising him. And I don't know if that was weird.
You gonna marry the guy that was at our wedding that was your friend?
Yeah, right. It's like an ultimate Tyler Perry movie. Right? If Tyler Perry wrote sports movies,
how you gonna do me that?
Yeah, this seems like this is the point where they were like, all right, we're tired of him. We're going with the lighter skinned brother, and that's exactly what happened. I don't want to make this a complexity thing, but that's literally what happened. If this was a Tyler Perry movie, that's literally what happened. That's
a metaphor, folks. We are not literally saying that this is being done. We are not alleging anything. I want to make sure.
Yeah. This is. I have no inside information. I'm not saying that this was a complexity thing. Obviously, the people who report on the Bucks probably have a better idea of what happened than either one of us do, but it kind of seemed weird. It kind of played like a Game of Thrones episode. I referenced this before the break. It played like a Game of Thrones episode because, I don't know. Are you a big Game of Thrones guy? I feel like we talked about this.
No, I don't know. I don't know much at all. So get me hip and other people who don't listen, who don't watch. Get us hip.
So Game of Thrones is like a fantasy series. It's like the ultimate drama. No one's safe. If you like somebody, they're more than likely going to die. But it's a whole political thing about people literally playing the political game to get the throne and everything else. And there's kind of it's obviously, it ended around 2019. So it's been 5 years. So I think it's safe enough to throw some spoilers. Okay. There's some magic ice zombies that are behind the wall. And they're an allegory for climate change and stuff. Really great. The books are really great. I haven't read the books, but a lot of my friends who have, really good. I've only seen the TV series, but the TV series is great. It's a great show for those of you that like and want to be in your European period drama. You like medieval movies. I like medieval stuff. It's only 10 episodes, so it's not that big of an investment. It's a great series. You definitely should try it. And don't believe these haters that tell you it fell off at season 8. Watch it. Watch the full thing and talk about it. If you have Max, all 8 seasons should be on Max. I hate the fact that they dropped HBO and I have to call it Max now. But Max. So definitely check that out. But it kind of played out like that. Griffin thought he was the king, it's his team. But essentially, as it turned out from sources, I think Woj reported this, ESPN reported, Stephen A. Smith reported that there were a lot of players who didn't really like him. He didn't really jive with the players. He was very, stubborn. It kind of reminds me of a certain, what we're hearing now about a certain former DC and with the Philadelphia Eagles. Stubborn, stuff like that. As much as these things can be believed, because obviously we're not there.
Do we not think that Fangio, by the way, folks, do we Fangio's the godfather of the Desai system? So, like, for the people who were trashing Desai, and I thought Desai had some really strong performances.
Me too. Me too.
So I just wanted people to pump the brakes a little bit on Fangio's about to be locking it down. Fangio's the new Jim Johnson. Can we let him call a couple plays?
Slow your roll, bro. Slow that roll. Yeah. I feel that. That's your Eagles coverage for the day right there. For the night right there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like it's so weird. Like you said, like Doc Rivers kind of like is like the fall guy. Like
He's set up to be the fall guy.
Yeah. But like I just feel like a lot of this has to fall on Giannis and Dame if this doesn't work this year. And they're both in it for the long haul. So like we know that Dame wanted to go to Miami.
He's a shield for them, though. They're going to try to make sure that he takes all of it. So Dame and Giannis, who may know in that front office that they're not set up, that they don't mesh well.
Yeah.
That they may know more than we know.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, this is a dub. Let's bring Doc in, the ultimate choker.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean like this is crazy, but if it works, it works, but I don't think it will. I think the Bucks are just teetering right now on going down and like it all coming down. Like I think they're 1-4 since he took over, so like the decline is starting. So, but I just feel like it's up to the rest of these teams to take advantage of that. And but the Bucks, they have Pat Bev. That should help them with the wing defense as much as Pat Bev can. But ultimately, before he gets on the floor, it's going to be Damian Lillard defending somebody's second or primary scorer, and we know how that's going to go. So,
yes.
But maybe he'll be more bold because he has Giannis Antetokounmpo backing him up to block shots and Brook Lopez. So maybe he'll be a little bit more aggressive, and maybe we'll see something. I'm trying to cover my bases so I don't end up in a rap song by him. So you never know, but I think that y'all should get the grills ready to get some Damian barbecue chicken come April.
It's that team, they just need to be scoring 130. By the time we get to March, they need to be scoring 130, 135 a night on command and be pulling starters in the fourth. As an offensive team, they're just going to have to light you up.
Yep.
We need to get out of this phase where Dame is expected to score 20, 25. He needs to be in that 30 range every night. That's their path to getting as far as they're going to go. It's not going to be Dame learning how to lock up. He's not going to learn in year 12, 13.
Yeah.
He's never been that guy.
Yeah. No, and let me just be fair to him. I don't expect him to be that. I don't think Milwaukee Bucks fans expect him to be that. They expect him to be at least passable. As Matt would say, at least a C+ on defense. Not a D-, but a C+.
Where do you think he has been this year since you brought that up?
I think he's definitely been a D+/C-. I think that there's been times
that's fair.
There's times where I've been like, oh, that's a great defense, and times I've been like, yeah, that's the turnstile. But they brought him in to score and not to defend. So
he's on the all Jokic defense team.
Yo, you talking about being the all Jokic defensive team? Oh man. Yo, that's a good one.
Listeners, you know what I'm talking about. You don't even have, it doesn't even need to define that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't even if you like Jokic, and I do too. Come on. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to hear about some of these advanced analytics. I'm talking about people getting hooped up, period.
Yeah, bro.
So the Sixers go ahead and get Buddy Hield from the Pacers.
Yeah.
And they get Campaign.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling about those? You think that helps them tread water in that 6-ish range until Joel gets back?
Yeah, I think honestly, I don't want to be disrespectful to Campaign, but I'm just really excited, as I wrote in my article, Rescue Sixers. Check it out on WatchTheSportsTake.com. Another shameless plug. Yes. I think Buddy Hield, like this guy, I have to give this credit. I heard this on Twitter. This man has been the ultimate ideal imaginary trade Sixer, and now he's actually a
Yes.
Sixer. And I feel
Yeah.
like people should be more hyped about this. Like, what have
Yes.
what have
He
you
fits
always
in.
said about the Sixers? Like, you wanted
Yes.
that shot creator, that guy
Yes.
who ain't never scared to shoot a shot. Is that not Buddy Hield? That's Buddy
Right.
Hield, man. Like,
Correct.
Buddy Hield,
Correct.
like I said on my podcast earlier, like an episode earlier, Buddy Hield will shoot a shot from New York City and it'll find some way to end up in a hoop in South Philly somehow. That man ain't
Since Buddy Hield
Yeah.
entered the league, only one player has hit more threes than him, and you know who it is.
Damian Lillard.
No, Steph Curry.
Oh, Steph Curry. Okay. All right. I would have said
Yeah.
Damian. All right. So stump me. All right. Good job. Good job. Yeah. So like Damian, see, Buddy Hield, a career 40% shooter the last 5 seasons. Like he said, number 22 all time on the 3-point list currently, right? And the other thing, big for you
At
for
31. He
Yeah.
is a little old. That's the
Yeah.
only thing about it. A little long in the tooth.
Yeah, but big for you salary cap guys right now. Again, I gotta
Right.
give this credit. This came from a Pacers reporter. But if they want, they could extend him right now and only have to extend him for 2 to 3 more years at about $40 to $45 million. And that wouldn't take away from the cap space that's going to be created now next year once James Harden and Tobias Harris come off the books when they have about $60 million. He's the guy that you need around Joel Embiid. And I know that Joel Embiid is very happy to have him on this team because it's a guy, unlike my boy Tobias Harris, who you don't have to worry about. He's going to give you 15, 20, 30 a night.
Correct.
His average, obviously, his scoring average is a little bit deceiving.
Yes.
It's only 12 points a game, but that's because he got caught up in that shooting guard heaven that is Indiana, right? Because when you have, Tyrese Halliburton and you're sharing now points.
That's going to go up in Philly.
Yeah,
He's going to be in that 18 range.
Yeah,
Watch.
He'll be that 18, 20, maybe 22
Yes.
range, especially in this 4 to 8 weeks.
It's going to take away from Toby, though.
Yeah, without
Toby's is going to go down.
Yeah, Toby's going to go down, but it'll help. Like I said in my article, it's going to help Maxey because he won't be the primary person that defenses will be worried about stopping anymore. You shouldn't tomorrow night. You shouldn't see, as we're recording this on Thursday night, you shouldn't see a box and one on Tyrese Maxey tomorrow. If he's healthy enough, because I think if they were fully healthy, he wouldn't have played yesterday. I think if Joel Embiid was healthy, if Tobias Harris was obviously he's coming back from his own battle with the flu. Those of you that don't know, when they say illness, it's either the cold or the flu. That's what it is. That's been, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but I feel like the flu has been, or the common cold has been running through the Sixers since about October, since James Harden left. It felt like everybody's been sick with it at some point this year.
Saying there's a curse going on?
No, I'm saying that I don't know if they're just not if they're not eating their vitamins as certain people, as Macho Man Randy Savage used to tell us when we were kids. I don't know if the vitamin specialist or the nutritionist isn't giving them their vitamins. I don't really know, but I know that somebody needs to give them some vitamin C, all that strong stuff that we all had, some ginger ale, but whatever's ailing them, bro. The vitamin C, the vitamin D. I know the sun hasn't been shining in Philly until the last few days, but do something to get them in front of some vitamins, pump them up with fluids, and get them on out there. But Buddy Hield is a great player. He's the shot creator that I've said in multiple articles, and Matt has heard me saying in text chains with him that I'm of the mindset that the Sixers need that shot creator, and that has come in the form of Buddy Hield. They can easily extend him if they want to. A lot of people are scared. They think that I was arguing with some people in some Sixers fan groups that I'm in right now about, oh my God, why do we have him? He's not the guy. I'm all like, yo, y'all want his shooting?
He's not the guy. He's a guy. He will know his role and give you 17 points.
Right. And he won't be scared. He won't be scared.
Right.
He can
shoot 4 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
On a good game.
Yeah, he'll be 4 for 7. He'll shoot that shot when Tyrese Maxey, as what's been happening these last few games, gives him a shot in the corner or from the logo, he won't be afraid to shoot it. And that man can shoot. We've been watching him since his Oklahoma days. The one thing that he specializes in is shooting. And I know Joel Embiid is dancing. He did send out a semi-cryptic tweet, but I'm not really worried about that one because, he's always sending out cryptic tweets. But I think that's more about, like, he's happy about Buddy Hield, might not be as happy about Campaign. But I think Campaign's another guy. He's shooting 38% from the three-point line. This is what you need. And the one thing he can do is lock people up too. And so, again, like, I think, with the 3 roster spots, that's the most important thing. If you're a Sixers fan, you're looking at, you're all like, I like Buddy Hield, Campaign, I can stand, but people like Pat Bev. I feel like it's going to be Kyle Lowry. I feel like that's all but confirmed now that they got rid of Pat Bev. I'm a little sad about Jaden Springer. I won't even lie to you. Especially after I spent a whole article, 2 articles raving about his defense on Luka and Steph Curry for him to get traded to, of all places, the Celtics. But like, as I said, I'm putting the objective journalist hat on and not the fan hat right now. I'm being objective, right, Matt?
Yes.
So I don't like the 2 moves I don't like are the Pat Bev and Jaden Springer move because, defense is needed. But maybe DeAnthony Melton plays tomorrow. We don't know what the report is because they haven't sent out the injury report. But they've been talking on the Sixers broadcast and to people that will listen that DeAnthony Melton is incoming. So maybe they feel like, all right, we got Buddy Hield, who's a better offensive version of Jaden Springer, and we know that DeAnthony and Nico Batum are incoming. So maybe that's why they got rid of Jaden Springer, because he would have fell out of the rotation and he probably didn't want to go back to Delaware. So.
Get the DMPs. He'd be getting a lot of DMPs.
But I love the move of Buddy Hield. I'm going to eventually tolerate the move of Campaign, but if nothing else, he can shoot a 3. The one thing we know about Campaign, he can pass the ball, he can shoot the 3. And that's
so that second unit, he'll be like the maestro of the second unit.
Yeah, and say Tyrese Maxey. I think, because I don't know if we talked about this, but I know I was talking, maybe it was on my podcast or maybe with you on the text chain, that I didn't like the fact that Nick Nurse was playing him 40 minutes. I think Tyrese Maxey is the leader in minutes before he got sick and had that ankle sprain, but he was leading in minutes for a while. He was like Derrick Rose out here playing 40 minutes at 23 years old. And I was like, I don't want this man
100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't want this man's ankle snapping. And how prophetic I was, because he had an ankle sprain the last 2 weeks. So like, they need somebody to come in there and be the ball handler.
Alleviate
and he does that.
Some of that. Just
so I'm
some
happy.
of that.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
He can rest at least like 5 to 10 minutes, and just give him some time. So I'm happy about that. And if nothing else, Campaign does that. I'm very excited. I definitely think that the Sixers now, obviously they need the All-Star break more than anybody, but I definitely think that they can win these next couple of games. It's against the Hawks, the Wizards, these next 2 games, and then they'll obviously play the Cavs. That'll be a little bit difficult, especially without Joel Embiid, but the Hawks and Wizards should be, hear me now, Sixers fans, should be W's. Now, will they be is a different story right now, but should be W's.
Different team without Joel Embiid.
Right.
But talking about the Pacers, they got Doug McDermott for the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs went and got our guy Marcus Morris in a 2nd round pick. Are you on the same train with me, thinking that Pacers really could make a run at the ECF?
Yeah, I think if everything goes right, Tyrese Halliburton and them stay healthy, obviously the Pacers are a sneaky team. I feel like it's been forever since I've been able to say that. Like since our man Lance Stevenson was playing on that team. So like Mr. blowing the ears over there. It takes me back to when I was growing up, man, when the Pacers were a threat. When everything just needed to bounce right. So Tyrese Halliburton is definitely an all-star. I hate the rule that may cost him $41 million that he has to play I don't think he can miss like 2 more games and he'll miss out on $41 million. It's like
I don't know how you do that over the course of the next 3 months. And I just don't know that's real.
Yeah, it's like the Clay. It's like what happened to Klay Thompson all over again. Except if he gets injured or like he doesn't feel like playing, especially towards the end of the season, where their seed
He's
is
got only got 2 excused absences
yeah,
from the
yeah,
class.
yeah. So like it's kind of crazy, right? And it might cost him $41 million. So like
Oh,
I just think that obviously Tyrese Halliburton is more live for the MVP than any of us thought he would be, but that's just because obviously of what happened to Joel Embiid. Now a lot of people are more live for the MVP. Nikola Jokic is now probably the number one guy to get the MVP now, and it should be Joel Embiid, but we know that injuries happen, and it shouldn't be, but this is the way that new rule is set up. So, but I think that they can go very, very far. If sort of like the Knicks, if they get the right matchup, if they don't fall off, which when you have Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton on the team, all it takes is one injury, and I'm not wishing that on anybody, but health is dependent. But yeah, right now with the assets that they have, now they did let go of Furkan Korkmaz and did just trade, as you said, Marcus to the Spurs. They'll probably get bought out. So we'll see about that one, but I think with Doug McDermott as a backup, we know again, just like Buddy Hield, he'll shoot from South Jersey if he wants to. So like he's a shooter, and with that off the bench, they can definitely surprise some people and at least get to the second round. And if everything falls their way, definitely get to an ECF and give Boston trouble probably before like losing in 6 games. So.
More on all this when we be back after a quick commercial break.
So you're writing Philadelphia off.
I'm not writing them up, but I don't.
Sounds like you are. You're saying when
they're
it
in
comes
trouble. Yeah, trouble. That's all I'm saying.
And Ernie Shack has a great point. He's not going to be able to work out when he's hurt. Like, he might be back in a month, but it's going to take him another 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get his conditioning or get back into basketball shape.
Like we always say, you don't play basketball and get in shape. You get in shape to play basketball, and you have to get in great shape to play NBA basketball. So, and the workload that he has would make it difficult.
All right, we were talking about the Pacers being a sleeper team. The team I am going to stay asleep on, and everybody should understand, is the Detroit Pistons. But they acquired Daniel House and the Knicks 2024 second-round pick from the Sixers, according to Woj. I mean, do they blow it up? I mean, what happens here? I mean, Jaden Ivey went and dropped damn near 40 the other night, and so you've been saying that he needs to play more. I still don't know what the path is. Things should be going a lot better than they are.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is health, right? Cade Cunningham's been injured. Like I said, that's their backcourt duo of the future right there, Cade and Jaden Ivey. But if they don't want him, I know a team in Philly that would gladly take him. Can you imagine a backcourt of Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Ivey? Woo, bro. Joel Embiid don't have to show up till April if that happens. So like
they can carry the team. You really do believe that they can carry the team?
Yeah, because like we know Jalen Ivey isn't afraid to shoot, and Tyrese Maxey will actually have a running. Jaden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Jaden.
yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I don't want to be disrespectful. Jaden.
Disrespect that man. That Baba Dave him Jaden.
Jaden.
I'm gonna call him Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden Springer. Like he is a great player who I am a huge fan of. And like, I don't know what is going on in Detroit. I don't know what Monty Williams sees a lot more practices than I do of Detroit. But I definitely think at least this year you can stay asleep on them. But they need to figure it out. Do they need to trade Jaden Ivey? I want to say because we got a Jalen here, so that's why Jaden Ivey is that guy. Like he is the star of stars on that team. Like. That losing streak wouldn't have happened if he was allowed to play more. Like,
yeah,
I think he needs to be on the court.
I think they realize that now.
Yeah, I know.
You can see it in his minutes.
Yeah. So I think that they need him. I think they're being like OKC, hoping that between Jaden Ivy and Cade Cunningham, that one of them makes that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leap that they can build around, give them a new contract. And I guess they're waiting on Jalen Duren. That's another one. To come out too. Like, and I think between Duren, Ivy, and Cunningham, whichever one of them mature faster, that'll be the person that they build around. But yeah, the Detroit kind of sacrificed the Pistons for the Lions this year. So, it's kind of, the Yu-Gi-Oh sacrifice. You remember that Yu-Gi-Oh sacrifice for the God tier Lions play, bro. So like, that's what's going on. I feel like you can stay sleep on the Pistons, but I feel like they're playing the long game here, the ultimate long game. But between Ivy, Duren, and Cunningham, whichever one of them, obviously they're going to keep Duren. But whichever one of those two guards, and they should keep both of them realistically, but knowing them, they'll only keep one, and then be mad when it doesn't work out. But Jaden Ivey is the guy you should build around, and if not, they will definitely take him in Philadelphia.
Yeah, they take him down to South Philadelphia.
Yeah,
absolutely, or maybe Center City soon.
Yeah, Center City, very soon.
Yeah, so how high in the seedings do you expect the Sixers to stay until Embiid gets back?
Right now, I don't think they'll drop lower than 6 because obviously, like, they're just games ahead of the Pacers. But that was before Buddy Hield. Now that they got Buddy Hield, I think they can jump back into the 3 seed because I feel like all that attention he'll draw and give them that veteran leadership. But I don't think that if it keeps going the way it's going, they'll be a 6 seed. But if it goes the way I think it'll go now that Buddy Hield is in this lineup, it should go to 3, the highest it can go. And if DeAnthony Melton, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly and them getting rid of Jaden Springer, I feel like that means DeAnthony Melton is playing tomorrow. But again, I haven't seen the injury report, so I don't know. But I just think that means that DeAnthony Melton is incoming in one of these games in these next couple of days. But yeah, 3 seed at the highest right now before the All-Star break, 6 at the lowest. But they got 3 games left, so we'll see.
Well, Kylan, thank you so much for making time to come on. And folks, please go give him a follow at Courageous and Bold Leo. That's the name over on the social medias. And check out Watson's SS Sports Take .com. Also, of course, if you like the show, please go subscribe wherever you listen to this, as well as the places you listen less often. You also should go check out Kylan's podcast, which is called, Kylan?
SportsHour Plus with Miller and Watson. And there is an episode with the prestigious Matt Rogers, and we hope to get him on more, man.
Absolutely. Great talking ball with you all. And we'll have you back another time. Thanks.
No problem.
It's easier to generate triples with big fella on the floor. I mean, honestly, because they're trapping and doing different things like that. Tonight when I got trapped a little bit, I try to get off the ball and make other guys make plays. But yeah, she did got 3-pointers up. I mean, Turk came in and hit 5, so they got our percentage up a little bit. But yeah, we gotta get some shots up, gotta make some shots as well, and